say that other MLM companies are going to get a little bit nervous.
I already noticed that they are hanging in there, and because they know their leaders are looking at us. What are they going? Finally, they are going into the United States. What is this company from Estonia and the Netherlands doing?
And there have been enough people that are from the United States that ask us a few times already, can we already build here? But yeah, we wanted to keep it locked, make sure that we don't ruin it before we actually go there. But in a few months, we press open and then we take it.
I was in Cancun and there was a whole team of Mexicans living in San Francisco. And I said, guys, hey, the United States, hey, Mexicano, eh? Ik zeg, oh, be careful, when you are a United States citizen, you're illegal. And
they can build in Mexico, of course, when they have a Mexican residency. So that's no thinking clue, outside of the box.
You have no clue how many Mexicans we have living in Mexico, but are eternal travelers. I think
there might be even more Mexicans in the US than in Mexico itself. Who knows?
I have such an idea in San Diego and LA, but now it's time. It's finally time. And you just came back yesterday, Roald.
I landed yesterday morning, still working towards through actually the jet lag a little bit. I don't remember one night in the US that I woke up after 3 o'clock in the night. So, and but I started at 1 and then it became 1:30 and 2 and 2:30 and 3. Yeah, and then finally you get closer and closer to a normal schedule, and then you fly back and it starts all over again. So
now you are my schedule. So now you are just waking up and getting ready, getting rock and roll.
You can see it?
Yes, I can. You know what will hit you tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock? Yeah. That will wipe you out.
Yeah, normally I wake up not later than 6:30 in the Netherlands. So let's see how that goes tomorrow morning. Because
when I came back from Cancun, I'm still, I go to sleep 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And then I sleep till 12 o'clock and then I wake up. And now it's really the time that I really think, wow, the day has started. It's beautiful. And at 1 o'clock, I'm fresh, like if I'm going to do a Max Verstappen tour.
But who knows, maybe next year you spend more time in those time zones than on these. Let's see.
I really believe that. And I'm looking forward because it's a beautiful time zone over there. We have the success in Canada. We have the success in Latin America. And now America is coming, the United States. So let's see.
And we already had leaders also. Daniel with Giovanni and Kayan actually spent, I guess, almost a week in Toronto, Canada.
Yes.
And they came back, and then was the moment that I flew, but at the same time was then the Cancun retreat. So a lot of things going on, 6 hours, 7 hours behind us.
And our Caribbean leader, Anderson Chester, is in Bermuda.
Wow.
And in Bermuda are only 60,000 people, but they sign up daily people and they make a lot of volume. I think Bermuda is going to be the #1 Caribbean country.
Ooh.
And rich that they are. Whoa, and he says to me, Igor, 5,000 euro is nothing for these guys. That's part of their monthly salary. So they are going ballistic. Wow. So that time zone is yes.
Good things. And we actually, we are a global company and we ended up in many markets that we didn't actually start coming before. But it's time. It's time to conquer the world. And I believe that we have a perfect setup. There's actually some things behind the scenes that we work on that we actually start with in the US.
Yeah.
And that goes well, then we will definitely also introduce that into other markets. So a lot of things are coming.
We are really growing at Roald. People have no clue how we started in 2018 and where we are now. It's like, it's only looking around here in the offices and the studios and the level of leadership that has created.
I think that behind the scenes, we are working on the apartments, of course, for the new Crown Diamonds. We have already given, I think, all the new black diamonds their new car. Yeah. We are working on a solution for all the watches since the last live event Dubai last year.
I saw the first videos of the cars coming.
Also coming out, so we actually will have an announcement probably this week about the next event, the Dubai event, and how that will take place. Unfortunately, today is a new day in the Netherlands. We just started, I actually entered yesterday into the Netherlands, and today they started a new hard lockdown.
They do hard lockdown, but we are virtually, so we are a virtual company. we are building a virtual world. So whatever lockdown, whatever country,
they will not lock down the company for sure.
No,
Impossible.
and we will make it so that people in years to come, you know, whatever government does a lockdown, they go into the view and they travel all over the world. They have 100%. No problem. Look forward. But you left some guys behind over there.
I left 2 guys behind. I think they miss me. I think they're also adjusting to me not being there anymore. But let's see. Greg, how are you doing?
How long are you guys going?
I'm doing great. I just finished crying my tears of sadness since you're not here. But no, listen, in all honesty, it was absolutely awesome to have Roald here. We got a lot of things done, and we had a lot of fun as always. We always have fun together. I think you could drop us into a forest in the freezing cold, and we'd probably find a way to have a lot of fun. So there was no issue with that. But what was awesome, and the very first word that I heard you use, Roald, was you were contemplating the evolution of the country, of the company, and that word is really spinning around with me. I hear it everywhere, and evolution is part of the mix. And I think even in the week that you were here, we had an evolution to the plan, to the hard nuts and bolts of what's happening. The entire world should be very, very excited. I don't care if competitive companies are scared. They should be. They should be afraid of good people coming and taking their people to build a great opportunity. But you know what? To the best men and women, may the best prizes and best incomes go, because we're creating the best thing, and we have the most incredible setup coming. And so it was awesome to have you here, because it just infused more energy into the process. So, but I do miss you. I'm not gonna lie.
I've seen your background. I've seen Jason's background, but now I actually also know what you see and how it looks on the other side of that room. So I have a better image of it now.
Exactly. Well, and that's the purpose of these kinds of things. I mean, look, you know, lockdowns aside, there's no lockdown here. So that doesn't make any sense. If there's a lockdown, it should be everywhere around the world, and we should be then all forced into the view. But there's no lockdown here. So the issue is we still need to move around and be with each other. We still need to have the freedoms to see each other. So I love that you have been in this room with me and Jason. I love it. So that's awesome.
There was something with your sound. So the last thing, maybe I didn't hear you only, but I don't know if...
I didn't hear it either.
Really? So you can't, can you hear me now?
Yeah, but only the last 2, 3 sentences I didn't hear. I guess.
Yeah, after going
well, that's where all the brilliance was. So I'm sorry, I can't repeat it. It just was natural coming out of my face.
Okay, well then again, take your time and share the rest of your brilliance.
All right, good deal. Well, so listen, I wanted to recapitalize on some of what I was teaching last week, and I want to take it another step further. I always begin with my reflection on the 5 core values, and I do that because I love it, but I also require it, like I require air in my lungs or water in my system, because I think that the core values we assign to ourselves literally evolve our thought patterns, which then drive our action patterns. And we are all guided by a skill set that has been given to us by our genetic encoding. You can call it God-given, you can call it intuition, you can call it whatever you want, but we all have the ability to look at other people and kind of know who they are, because people want to show up as to who they are. Some people are trying to fool you, but that's why we have intuition, so we can read through the patterns and see when people are trying to be duplicitous or fake or frauds or dishonest or any of those bad things. There are a lot of bad people, but there are mostly good people. Sometimes there are bad people doing good things and good people doing bad things, but mostly we need to go around in the world trying to identify and find and bring to us the good people doing good things. It's actually not It's not that hard. It just takes some work. And when you think about our 5 core values as a baseline for ourselves, you know, when you operate with integrity, you shine differently. It's in your eyes, it's in your smile, it's in your energy. When you speak of Success Factory, you feel the flames of Success Factory, the beauty and the intensity that lives around the brand, that has nothing to do with your ability to communicate it. It has everything to do with how it affects others through you. It's the brand is bigger than you. It'll always be bigger than you because it's a collective culture. And you're tapping into it, taking advantage of it, using the combination of your authentic soul, your beautiful human individual soul, meshed up with a beautiful brand and a cause and a purpose. But here's the tricky part. The tricky part is you have to continue to evolve and then turn on that, right? So I said, you know, for us, it's about focusing on integrity, focusing on innovation, constantly growing ourselves. It's truly a grasp of the importance of locking your brain in on the freedoms that come from this business. I'm going to talk more today about the freedoms that come than anything else today, because it's the time of year in the United States and in the Christian world, predominantly, which is the world I was raised in. We're headed into Christmas, and Christmas season is, you know, celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ, and the Christian world celebrates all of that. Even though I think historically it's not at the same time. It was when they pulled all that together around the winter solstice, and anyway, it ended up here in December. So Christians worldwide, the world tends to slow down a little bit for those of you that don't follow that, but you probably know that, just as we know what happens at certain times of the year in Islam and Judaism and everything else. But here's the scoop. At this time of year, I get to be thinking about the reflections of the gifts I've been given. And it's not even just the holidays. Sometimes it's the end of the year. It's the end of the cyclical time frame of the year and the beginning of something new. So it's the closing out and the opening up. It's not really a closing out or opening up if you think about it. It's just a transmission of time, but we call it, as humans, we need some closure and opening in what we do. And that's not a bad thing because it's a reflective moment. It's forced upon us to reflect the end of something and the beginning of something. So that's not bad. That's good. You should do that all the time. As a matter of fact, you should do it every day. You should close out every day. How did I do? And you should open up every day. What do I want to do? And if you do that every day, you'd have a mini year in a day, and you would have amazing experiences. And if you lived every day that way, you would actually own time. Time is a very weird construct. There's a term I read in the word time, T-I-M-E, time. Today is my everything. Today is my everything. Imagine if you treated today and the time like that. You wouldn't miss moments. You wouldn't waste time. You wouldn't not take action on something, because today is my everything. Actually, it's all you have. There's a concept in psychology called it's called perspection. I wrote the word down earlier today. Perspection. Perspection is kind of an interesting thing, because it's the psychologists are actually thinking about the fact that we used to be, or they used to think that we were always driven by the past and our behaviors, our experiences in the past. And I think there's some truth to that. But I think what they're coming around to is that we're really living in the present moment. Our conscious brain, so we have our conscious brain and our subconscious or brain. And our conscious brain is all that separates us from animals. Animals react to everything. Oh, here comes a bear, I better run. Or here's some water, I better drink. But it's humans that say, I'm going to take myself to that water and I'm going to enjoy it, or whatever. And they create visions. In their visions, that's their conscious mind. That's the separator, is the ability to create a vision and almost manifest it and make it real and make something happen for ourselves. So why am I saying all of this? Because I say stuff like this all the time. The concept is perspection. The process is that we can create vision for the future and get excited about it and go toward it. Duh, I didn't tell you anything new, did I? No, I really didn't. I'm just giving you a new word, perspection, that it's actually a psychological practice that we're driven by our future, not our past. We're driven by our future, not our past. Now, we never really have a future if you think about it. We have some iteration of a dream in our future, but we only live it today, today, today. Today is my everything. That's time collapsed into the now, the right now. The power of now is now. It's always has been and always will be. So I don't want to spend too much time on that, but this is coming from a book I'm reading called Who, Not How. Who, Not How. And the book is amazing because it's opening my brain to like really true concepts that I've always known. But I wanted to stay on this concept I talked about last week, evolution to revolution. Roald used evolution in his first statement about how the company has evolved. See, evolution is to grow, right? Everything evolves and it grows. The company is growing. So evolve or evolution isn't just another word for growth. We're growing. But what happens between evolution, growth, and revolution, which is change, there's revelation. And I said this last week, but revelation is basically to reveal divine truth, to reveal divine truth. If we are a culture as a company, then we're made up of people. Actually, all companies and organizations are not things, they're groups of people, which means that they're human, which means that they think and feel, and which means that they reveal truth to themselves and to each other. Only through our growth and then the revealing of truth, the revelation of something that needs to change, then we create the change. What I'm giving to you right now is some revelation for you to sit on, for you to think about, because there's hell to pay if you don't. If you procrastinate and don't take action, there is literal hell to pay. There's a definition of hell that I read a few years ago. It said, on your last day, the person you became meets the person you could have become. Imagine the hell of the gap between who you became because you were lazy, procrastinated, weren't honest, didn't try hard, and then you had this gift of this giant that you could have become had you only chosen to take the proper actions and gather the people that need to be around you. Imagine that. That does sound like hell to me. So I feel compelled and driven to keep raising myself to the next level and the next level, because otherwise I've got hell to pay, and I don't want that. So the truth is, there's a statement in this book, Who Not How. He said this, that the only way to make your present better, is by making your future bigger. Now, if you think it's silly that you couldn't grow your business 10 times bigger than it is or 100 times bigger than it is, then you're in the wrong business. You should go do something else, because you already failed, already cannot make it. But if you can grasp the idea that you can have a 10x, 100x times dream, then you're in the right place. Imagine how big the view is. A year ago, Roald and Igor and Jason and I, and after conversations with Chris, sat down and we talked about the view. The view is just so big. It's incomparable. It's inconceivable. I can't code to save my life, but I can imagine to create life. And so we sat around and we talked about this gigantic thing, and then we committed to it. Now, here's the scoop. Once you commit to it, there's a lot of hows, H-O-W-S, of things that have to get done to make the realization of that dream, that goal, that vision, that thing called the view, to make it real. There's a lot of hows, people with skills and knowledge and relationships that have to come to this thing that weren't there when we sat down a year ago. So you lay this dream out, and then you start talking to people, and you start asking them for help. Hey, can you help us materialize this dream? We need big money. We need big dreamers. We need big coders. We need big developers. We need big film and camera people. We need big computers. We need big everything. And we're starting with not big. So it has to grow. It has to evolve. And so as it's evolving, there's a continuous flow, a continuous rainfall of revelation, of divine truths, of things that are, hey, if you don't do this, you won't get that. So like all these hard truths of business, and then they happen, they come, and then we start to turn and turn faster and faster. That's the revolution of velocity that's moving the business toward its ultimate end. It'll never be fast enough for some of you. It just never will, because some people are just not strategic enough to know the pace to create excellence. But it's also happening at lightning speed at the same time. So the deal is, we have to go through evolution to revelation to revolution. And that is the process, personally, business-wise, professionally. And the only way to make your present better is to create a bigger vision and a future. Stretch yourself to the point that you are so uncomfortable that you have to see yourself operating at a higher level, and realize that you have to confront the fact that you don't know how to do it. That's the coolest thing about the space that we're in. In network marketing, we're in that space where the people that are here are willing to dream and know that they cannot achieve the greatest levels of their existence unless they bring other people in with them. And by the very nature of what we do, we are a who, not how business. Who, not how. See, it's who. It's who comes to the table with their skills. It's who comes to your team with their relationships. It's who steps up to recruit and build like a machine. That's who makes you money. It's when Ahmad Rabaya asks a million questions, is hesitant, reluctant, and then wakes up to the business, and then recruits the Middle East into the business and changes the nature of Success Factory in all of the Middle Eastern countries by bringing amazing people. And then for him, he's seeing all these other people with Bader Al-Saidi and Hamoud and Ida and Irada and all these amazing humans. And I there's a million of you, so I'm sorry I'm not naming all of you. I'm just naming the ones that I have a relationship to. But that's what's happening. It's the who, not how. Okay? It doesn't matter how much you know. It really doesn't. It matters who you're surrounded by and who you are. The first who that you need to always work on is you. You who. You hear me? It's you. It's the you are the who that first starts with. And you do need to work on the how. I'm not saying the hows aren't important. They are. But what you're trying to do is leverage the power of the who's in your sphere. That's how you get more done with less energy. Jason talks about that concept all the time. It's leveraging the energy around you, and that's the nature of our business. All humans are driven by the same stuff, the exact same stuff, right? There are 4 freedoms that people aspire to, okay? So I told you I was going to talk about freedom, because freedom is a gift. We choose it, but we also have to go out and give it. Gifts are not just for consumption. Gifts are actually more sweet and precious when you give them, especially to people who don't get a lot of gifts in life, and that's most people. You need to be the most beneficent, magnanimous, love, philanthropic human being you possibly can. And those are big words. They probably don't translate very easily, but everybody understands you need to be a great giver in life. You should be the best giver, not getter. We say, hey, he's quite a go-getter. I think he should be a go-giver, right? Go give what we have. Go give the knowledge. Just give it. Just throw it at every brain and soul and heart that will hear you. Because the 4 freedoms that we're all after, all of us, every one of us, is time, the freedom of time. That's the big one. That's why people become entrepreneurs in the first place, is because they want time freedom. They want to say, I will go do this on my time when I want to. I don't want to work on somebody else's time. Some people do. There's nothing wrong with that. In a stage in all of our lives, we're always working for somebody else. But it's when you can own that process and time, that's when you're at your best as a human, really the best. And then most entrepreneurs, this is a funny thing, if you actually think back on entrepreneurs and meet them, they're not there necessarily to chase money. But money, the more money you have, it creates more choices in your time, and it heightens your relationships. See, entrepreneurs want the freedom of time, the freedom of money, the freedom to choose their relationships, who they work with and how they work with them, and the freedom to focus on their purpose. My handwriting isn't that great, but look, this is the big one. What is the purpose? That's the why. We talk about it all the time. People throw these things out intuitively and emotionally because they know that that's the driver. Entrepreneurs are mostly driven by this, because these 3 things feed the purpose. When you have your own time freedom, and you have money freedom, and you have relationship freedom, your purposes adjust. I was at dinner this week with one of my dearest friends over the last 10 years. She's a very, very powerful woman in Atlanta. She used to own magazines, and she's owned several companies, and she's just an amazing human being. But she had an entrepreneurial dinner where there were 10 of us. And every one of them was like powerful people, really powerful people, beautiful people too, highly energetic, very happy, very complimentary. Just the vibration of these people was incredible. But every one of them was there for a lot of the same reasons. They aspired to create their own time, their own purpose. And one of them is now married to the former vice chairman of General Electric. That's a big global company. She's very, very wealthy. She doesn't have to do a thing, but nobody never just does something. They always do something. She has partnered with some local celebrities and well-known songwriters and singers. If I told you the name, you'd know. But they have changed the way that kids going through high school in the urban areas. She's changed the dropout rate from not finishing school to 90% of them going to college and getting great grades. The shift of the experience of human life from dropping out of high school to finishing college is a massive intergenerational family legacy change. This lady puts her millions of her own dollars into this process. That's purpose. That's purpose. You know why she can do that? Because she has a lot of money, and she's got a lot of time, and she's got powerful relationships, and it matches with her purpose to get something done. These are the freedoms that all people on planet Earth are looking to exercise, including all of you. You need to powerfully build this business in a way that you can exercise your own freedoms. Look, I was doing a little math, okay? There are 8 billion people on this planet, 8 billion. I think if we got active and really got aggressive as a group of humans with intention to change, with intention to raise up the vibrations of humanity by being good people, by operating with integrity and being creative beyond belief, and offering freedom and contributing our time, energy, talents, love, patience, empathy, all of the leadership skills that we have, and being actual leaders, we could intend to go out and touch 5% of the planet with our knowledge, with our information and our opportunity. I don't think that's a huge stretch. It's going to take a whole lot of who's. This is not a how. How do we do this? I don't know. And I could probably prescribe some ideas. But you know what we need? We need a whole lot of who's, not how's. We need a whole bunch of new who's, right? Because the current crowd of who's that we have, some of them aren't even working. So we need a new bunch of who's to get out and reach 5% of the globe with our message of hope. Do you think people don't want hope? Do you think people don't want to hear about a possibility of making more money and feeling better and being more impactful? They do. And I'm saying only 5% of the planet. 5% of the planet would be 400 million people right now. That's a lot of touches. That's a lot of work. But if we did that, and let's just say hypothetically we touch these 5% of the planet, and 10% of those people said, I'm interested to hear more and either be a customer or I want to do something with you, but we get 10% of them to convert to pay close attention. That's 40 million prospects, 40 million people that could come and get benefit from all the products and services that we offer. Now, if 10% of those people became top income earners, we would have 4 million human beings on the planet making a lot of money. That's 4 times the total number of affiliates that we have after 4 years of full-time effort from the crowd of people, the who's that we have now. Now, these are the people that want to win big. What if we had 4 million $1 million a year plus earners? What do you think that would do to the planet? What do you think that would do to the value of our organization, our message? What do you think that would invite? What do you think that would evolve into? Again, I'm dropping divine truth on you. This is divine truth. It's a revelation. You are in your own process of growing. You're in your own evolution. I don't know where any of you are or how you're doing right now or how you're feeling or if you're hope-filled or doubt-filled. I don't know. But you're in your own evolution. You're probably on this call because you're a legit human being excited about life and ready to play to win. Some of you are consummate students. Some of you are full-time students and part-time workers. That's not okay either. You got to actually evolve out of being a consummate student trying to know all the how to do this. Who cares? Be a who. Go out and start bringing new who people. Jason and I beat this drum all the time. Recruit, recruit, recruit. It's not for nothing. Recruiting new people in brings new energy, thought, and possibility into the conversation. And it saves your life. It's good for them. It's good for you. It's good for the company. It's good for the products. It's part of evolution that brings new revelation that starts a revolution of growth. If we're going to get 400 million people to hear our message, that's going to take a freaking revolution of activity and action and focus and commitment and belief and excitement. And here's the deal. That's perspection, sitting in it now, envisioning something so big, imagining the who's. Do you know what I did last night? And I'll use this as my end. Last night, I took out pieces of paper and I wrote down my visions for the end of next year. I wrote them in past tense form. I said, I'm grateful that we sold X millions of dollars worth of products and services, that we recruited X number. I put all the specific numbers on there for myself. And then I went outside. It was a full moon. So I went outside and I took my lighter and this piece of paper and I burned it into ashes. And I let that just sit. I put it in there and let it sit. Now, you may think that's crazy. I don't care what you think. If you think it's crazy, I really don't care. For me, it's something that I did because I don't want to take on 100% of the responsibility. I want to attract who needs to be here to help me achieve what I want to. It's a simple concept, but you know, the deal is I only have so much expertise. I need people around me that have greater expertise. But I know if I bring them in, that it's going to raise up my life. I don't want to experience hell. My life is like heaven every day. And it's because I have beautiful people around me. You, all of you, you're a gift to me. My heart is full doing this, very full. I have so much love and happiness every day. I wake up and I can't freaking wait to wake up. Like sometimes I'm like, come on, get the sleep over with so I can get up and start doing this. I love this stuff. And I love all of you. And I know how hard this is, but I also know how not hard it is. And I know how rewarding it is. And I don't want to be on my last day looking at the person I could have become. I've been fighting every damn day to not just stay where I am, but to raise up to the next level. That is what I'm talking about. Evolution to revolution. Don't forget that. The freedoms that we're after is more time, our time, in time, anytime. More money, big money, good money, free money, money that we can give away, money that we can use to get some material things for ourselves, whatever. But money in good hands does good things. Money tells the truth of who you are. If you're a jerk, then you become a rich jerk. If you're a giver, you become a rich giver. You become a person who affects change everywhere they go because they can. See somebody on the street that has a need, what's 50 bucks or 50 euros to you? It's nothing. And by giving it to them, if that doesn't do anything to hurt them, that saves their day for the day. You make their day. Today is my everything. That's time. If you use your time and your money wisely, you will change your relationships because you'll be a better human, and that will affect the goodness of your purpose. I hope that means something to you. It means something to me, and I'm going to close out with that. I hope that this holiday season puts you in a reflection of how you close the end of this year with your muscles out, your speed on, and you recruit to the last minute, and then you set your vision for a very powerful, explosive 2022, because everything that Roald and Igor are speaking about, and everything that Roald and Jason and I experienced in the US together last week, and everything that's in play and happening, it's significant. And it's going to change the face of this business. But in order for that to happen, you have to be in a constant state of curiosity, willingness to pivot, being fluid, being willing to be surprised, being willing to fail, being willing to do what it takes to constantly be the best version of you each day. If you'll do that, you're going to win. That's who the winners are. So with that, I'm going to stop. I love you all. I wish you the best of possibility as the year closes out. And I'm going to give it back to the boys in Amsterdam once they come back to the podium, because I see that from what I'm looking. Oh no, maybe I'm giving it to Jason. Oh, there's Roald. He came back. So
I didn't know for sure if you got the message, so I just came in.
What's the message?
The message that I sent to you on WhatsApp.
Well, I don't look at my phone while I'm looking at my.
I understand. You cannot multitask. Doesn't matter. Not everybody can do that.
No, I'm not a woman. That's what women are really good at. Men, we suck at multitasking. So I'm sorry.
Well, anyways, thank you for your training, Greg, and I give it to Jason. How wonderful to have you two on the call, Jason.
Yeah, it's good to be here. We're all in separate spots at the moment, but it was a great week. We're glad to have you over in the US of A and see everything that we're doing. It was an honor for my family to finally meet someone that I've been leaving my family and going over to the Netherlands for. So
definitely
it meant it meant the world to my family too.
Looks like I have a visitor.
You got a little guy right there yourself. But it's awesome. Well, there he is. You say hi. Wave to the global audience. Benjamin! Yeah!
Hey, buddy!
Perfect.
Who's that?
Yes.
You're happy to have your dad back home. We know that. We saw the phone call.
He didn't want to
saw the
stay at
video
home. He
calls.
was too afraid that I would not come back immediately, so he had to come with me tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, go enjoy them and hang out with them. But it was fun, and the USA is going to be a big market. It's going to be a great market. Craig and I were part of a network marketing company previous to this, and I had actually gotten recruited into a network marketing company when I was in college back in 1997. And that company, believe it or not, at the end of the year still sends me a check, a residual income check, even though I haven't been part of that company since 2000. I left the field of that company in like 2000. And still to this day, still getting checks in the mail. You never know what residual income can bring you. You need to stay tuned to it. And then I became executive of that company. That's where Craig and I met back in 2004. I became vice president of that company. That company only operates in the United States and Canada. It's only in two countries, United States and Canada. But I just saw this week that they paid out this year alone, that our previous company this year alone paid out $1,063 million. 1 billion with a B, $1,063 million this year just in commissions. Just in commissions. That's not their sales. That's not what they did. They just paid out this year $1,063 million, and that should ought to give you a hope and aspiration to understand that these markets are huge here in the U.S. as well as with Canada. But the U.S. is a big market. That company can pay out $1 billion in commissions just in one country or two countries. Imagine what's going to happen here at Success Factory over the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. It's going to be awesome. But you got to go to work. You got to understand what Craig was talking about, the evolution to revolution and revelation. There's two words that are really, really important. Revelation is an important word, but the other word is rebellion. So you need rebellion and revelation to go along with it. It was almost a year ago. It's almost a year ago coming up to Dubai. And, it was the first time we presented this book, right? Towards the beginning of the year, right? We talked about the future is faster than you think, and we gave you a vision what the future of this company with Success Factory is going to be, and the future is going to continue to get brighter and brighter and brighter. The beginning of the year we said that, and I want to go back. If you haven't read this book or you don't have the book, you ought to go get it. If you don't like to read, then you should listen to the audio version of it. If you don't like to listen to an audio version of it, watch the YouTube video of a summary of it. But in one of the chapters is called The Great Migration. I've had this bookmarked and earmarked since the end of last year when I first started reading this book. So it's almost a year ago I started reading this book. But in The Great Migration, he talked about in the next few decades, two factors are going to amplify the Great Migration. And what he's talking about, in olden times, the migrations used to happen from one country to another country. So people in Europe left and came over here and helped form North America to what it is now. And all over the human history, there's been migrations of people everywhere. But the Great Migration that you understand that's coming is the migration from the real world reality into a virtual reality, and what that could be and what that might do. But there's a couple of reasons why it's going to be amplified, and why we're sitting right at the crossroads and right at a very, very pivotal moment in time is for two predominant reasons why over the next few decades, these two factors alone are what will make people want to understand the evolution that's taking place when it comes to technology, and the revolution that's taking place when it's going to come to wealth creation, right? The evolution of what's happening with technology, but the revolution of what's going to take place with wealth creation, and it's psychology and opportunity. Those two things, psychology and opportunity. And I would encourage you to go read the chapter on the Great Migration to understand the ins and outs of the psychology and opportunity, because that's really what it is. You want to understand how to talk to people and why they want to be involved in it. It's psychology and it's opportunity. It's psychology and opportunity, things that have always driven people all over time. But the book, always at the end of the year, I always start getting another book, but this is the book I'm starting to read now. It's called The Changing World Order, right? The Changing World Order, and what is happening to the changing, this chapter will become important, the changing value of money. the changing value of money. So as there's an evolution and a revolution taking place from technology and wealth creation, there's also an evolution and revolution of understanding what money is and the value of it. And do you really understand the value of money? Do you understand how to go and get it? Do you understand what has been well this time of the year and what hasn't been good for this time of the year for you, right? And so you want to go back to it. I'm going to try and share my screen here because I want to write some stuff down so you can have some notes. Oh no, there's no screen share available, so I'm going to go ahead and hold it. Here's the question. 2021. I don't know if you can read it. The question you need to ask yourself is, have you made it out of the rat race? Have you made it out of the rat race? If you don't know what the rat race is what people do for most of their lives. They wake up in the morning and they go to work for somebody else, like Craig was talking about. They're an employee. You're in the top left quadrant of the cash flow quadrant, and you go to work, and you're like on a little hamster wheel. You're just running, and it's the rat race. Have you been able to find your way out of the rat race? If you don't know what the rat race is, you need to understand what the rat race is. If you haven't made it out of the rat race, meaning that you haven't still yet figured out a way to have your cash flow come in a way that exceeds your expenses. When you're stuck in the rat race, you have more expenses than you have cash flow. On a month-by-month basis. Some of you are on a day-by-day basis, a week-by-week basis. It's a grind. It's a hustle just to make enough money, just to match your expenses, just to have the two of them equal each other out. But you've got to understand, man, if you haven't made it out of the rat race, why haven't you? This has been one of the most phenomenal years for business. It's been one of the most phenomenal years for breakout in our scenario of what we're talking about. Our company, where we look at the opportunity that we have against the opportunity that other people have, there's a zero comparison as to the game that we've created here at Success Factory and the game that other people are trying to play somewhere else, right? So if you haven't made it out of the rat race, why not? The other question you need to ask yourself right now at the end of the year is, how consistent is your cash flow? How consistent is it? Is it consistently growing, or is it consistently inconsistent? Is it consistently growing, or is it consistently inconsistent, or is it consistently non-existent, right? How consistent is your cash flow? The other question is, how consistent, I'll write these down for you. Cash flow. Number one, how consistent is your cash flow? Number two, how consistent is your recruiting? How consistent is your recruiting, right? So if I were to pull up some numbers and go into your back office and say, hey, how many people have you personally recruited this year? Are you consistently recruiting a new person onto your team every single month? Are you consistently recruiting at least 10 or more people into your direct teams every single month? Are you consistently recruiting 100 people a month into your teams? Are you consistently recruiting 1,000 people a month in your team? How consistent is your recruiting? The other question you need to ask yourself is, how consistent is your customers, right? Your customer acquisition. How consistent is your customer acquisition? Are you consistently adding new customers personally and through your team every single month? Are you consistently adding customers every single day, every single week, every single month, every single quarter? How consistent is your customer acquisition? How consistent is the size of your team? How consistent are the amount of promotions that are happening in your team? Are you just come in and a flash and a bang and everything happens within 90 days and then it all disappears and there's never anything else to hear from, and it just all settles down to the bottom of the ocean, just like sand does if you stir it up? It gets all murky and then all of a sudden it just settles down. A great leader in our that I used to listen to a long time ago, he said the most offensive word you could ever say to him was the word settle. Many of you have found yourself just settling in to the way life is in the world, just settling in to your level of income, just settling in to your ability to go and create cash flow, just settling in to the size of your team, just settling in to what you do. Have you consistently grown your residual income? Next question. have you consistently grown your residual income, right? So have you consistently grown your cash flow? You consistently grown your recruiting? Are you consistent in customer acquisition? Are you consistently growing your residual income? Or are you just constantly having to sell to create cash flow? Are you constantly having to sell to create cash flow, meaning that there's nothing residual that's coming behind it other than betting on the long-term future and betting that it will only come in sometime down the road, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. You know, if you're going to go put energy into something every single day, you ought to ask yourself, how consistent is your residual income growing? Also, how consistent is your portfolio income? How consistent is your portfolio income? Are you constantly finding ways on a weekly and monthly basis to add money into your portfolio? And is that money going to work for you? And are those returns consistent with the returns that you want? Are they consistent with the returns that you need? Or are they consistent with the returns that just frickin' light the world on fire? How consistent are you in your cash flow? How consistent are you in recruiting? How consistent are you in customer acquisition? How consistent are you in growing your residual income? And how consistent are you in increasing your portfolio income? You know, sometimes when you come to the end of the year, you can be all nice and happy and full of just joy, which you ought to be. You ought to be thankful for what it is, but there also has to be a moment in time that you have to have crystal clarity and radical reality as you head into a new year. You need radical reality to head into a new year, because if you don't, you will find yourself at the end of 2022 the same way you are right now, or the same way you were in 2020, or the same way you were in 2019 or 2018 or 2017 or 2016 or 2015 or 2010 or 1900, however old you are. If you don't pay attention, and if you don't deal in radical reality, and if you always deal in yesterday, or if you always look back to what used to be good, then all of a sudden you're going to miss the opportunity to be great. If you're constantly looking backwards at what used to be good, you're going to miss the opportunity to be great in 2022. But that comes with radical reality, and it comes with asking yourself this question. This question right here. This one's going to hurt a little bit. But it allows radical reality to come to the forefront. It allows you to head into 2022 clear-eyed, so that you can make sure that you hit 2022 with everything you've got. You got to ask yourself this question right here. Are you addicted to losing? Are you addicted to losing? That's a tough question to have to ask yourself, but it's a tough question that leads to reality for you. Because if you look at yourself and you say, you know what, you answer those questions consistently, say, you know what, I haven't made it out of the rat race yet. My cash flow isn't very consistent, and it's definitely not where I want it to be. The size of my team isn't where I want it to be. My customers aren't where I want it to be. My residual income isn't where I want it to be, and my portfolio income isn't where I want it to be. Then at some moment in time, you've got to be real with yourself and say something along the way is allowing me, meaning you, meaning myself, meaning your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors, something inside of you is addicted to losing. Something inside of you is addicted to losing, because if you weren't addicted to it, you'd be winning. Right? Something inside of you is addicted to losing, because if you weren't addicted to it, you would be winning. You would be winning. You would be crushing the cash flow. You'd be crushing recruiting. You'd be crushing customer acquisition. You'd be crushing residual income. You'd be crushing your portfolio income. You'd be winning. You'd be working on yourself. You'd be going at it every single day. But maybe you're addicted to doing lazy things. Maybe you're addicted to being slow. Maybe you're addicted to being comfortable. Maybe you're addicted to be looking like you're doing something, but you're really not doing anything. Maybe you're addicted to telling a false story about what you really do against what you actually really do. Maybe this false narrative that you consistently tell yourself allows you the excuse and the opportunity to lay blame on others, to justify why it doesn't work, and then to ultimately do what all losers do, which is to quit. You don't want to be that person. We talked a few months ago about the book Winning. You got to come into 2022 ready to play, playing to win. We talked about it last weekend, but you really got to ask yourself the question, are you addicted to losing? And every one of us is addicted to losing in some part of our lives. Nobody's immune from it, but you got to get crystal clear on which part of you is addicted to losing, because if you weren't addicted to losing, you'd be winning in all areas of your life, right? You'd be winning. So as you come into 20 at the end of the year and into the new year, you got to be grateful and humble and honored and learn from all the life experiences that you've had, but you've got to go into 2022 clear-eyed, just like Craig was saying. He's already put down. If you didn't catch what he said about what the process that he just went through himself personally last night, he gave you, without going into a long detail, he gave you a recipe for how you win in a year. He went all the way to the end of the year. He said, by the end of 2022, this is what will have happened. This isn't what he hoped to happen, what I wish will happen, gee, it would be great if this happened. No, this is what is going to happen by the end of 22 with specificity, the actual number. Here's what it is. And then he burned it. And the reason you burn it is because you burn all ships. Actually, the flag I have right here is a pirate flag right here, and it says, burn the ships. Right? It says burn the ships, because when you burn the ships, there's no other way to get off the island. You're left there to survive and to get done what you need to get done. Right? So you burn it, you're burning the ships because it already happened. Right? It's a mental marker that you don't need to constantly see it, constantly see it, constantly see it. It already happens. It's burned inside of them. And it's burned out into the universe. What I said last week, the universe, when you are who you are and you're authentic in what you want to do, it's amazing that the universe will conspire for you to give you exactly what you want. But it comes down to a couple of things you have to do. Number one is you really, really have to be clear on the mission. What mission do you serve? What is your personal mission, and what is the mission of this company? Right? To innovate wealth creation for humanity. That's our mission. We have core values that support it, that allow us to get it done. And then number two is you actually have to make a plan. Like Craig said, what's your plan? And it has to be from the end of the year, right? EOY 2022, the end of the year 2022, and then you do it all the way backwards, all the way to what do I have to do every single day of every single week of every single month of 2022 in order to make that a reality. It's got to be crystal clear in your brain exactly what you want to do. For the businesses that we set up, for Success Factory Global, for The View, for Forex Insiders, for the United States of America, for every country around the world, everything that we're doing, we're clear. Where are we trying to go? I've got a number blazed in my brain of what I think is possible for what we're going to do. It's just, it's in there, right? It's clear as day. That number just sits right there. You have to have a mission. You have to have a plan. And then number three is you have to have a team, right? You have to have a team. Do you have a team? And is your team growing, or is your team dying? And then you have to have this magical word in order to make things happen. You have to actually have some income, right? You have to have income. And there's a couple of things that allow income to come, right? There's three things that help you create more income for your business. Number one is your skills, right? Do you have the right skills to produce the income? Really simple question. Do you have the skills? The other thing, number two, is do you have the right process, right? Do you have the right process to create an income? There's systems and there's processes. I've talked about it many times. The process is where all the magic is. You can have a system all you want. The magic is in the process of moving people through a system to create income. And then the third component is accountability, So if you want more income, right, you have to have the skills, you have to have a process, and you have to have accountability. If you don't have those three things, you're not going to have any income. If you don't have any income, you sure as heck won't be building a team. If you don't have a team, if you don't have income, you don't have a team, you're never going to make your plan. And therefore your mission really wasn't a mission. It was a nice to have. It was a nice little thing to write down and say, this makes me feel good, but it doesn't make me feel compelled to get into action, right? There's two ways to live out missions. There's two ways to live things out. One is just looking at it and just understanding it. And the second one is that you're actually in action towards it. And the last thing I want to leave you with is a drawing that I've drawn before. I drew it at last years, right, to every single time I think we've done a virtual, a yearly event for Dubai, is this process that looks like this. The process that looks like this. So this is time, and this is your growth, right? So for 2022 and where we are, we're trying to head towards this growth right here, right? So the first part, this first section right here, where it doesn't look like much of anything is happening, is a process. I've used this word before. It's called inertia, right? You're just kind of bumbling along. You're not really getting what you want. You're not out of the rat race. You're not crushing it. You're not achieving what you want. You're in inertia. Inertia is a scientific word that means that you have the lack of movement or activity, especially when movement or activity is needed or wanted. Inertia means that you have the lack of movement or activity, especially when movement or activity is needed or wanted, right? And then if you can break out of inertia, then you can move into the second phase over here, right? You start to move up a little bit more, you move out of inertia, and then all of a sudden you move into this word called momentum, right? Momentum. It's a great word. It feels good. You feel like things are happening. It's momentum, right? You're starting to see some cash flow. You're starting to see some recruiting. You're starting to see some customer acquisition. You're starting to see some residual income. But then all of a sudden, you want to get to this next section, right? Because this next part right here is you move out of momentum and you want to make a leap. You want to start making a vertical climb. You want to start heading up the mountain, right? You figured some things out. You figured out your skills that you need. You figured out that you have the processes, that the systems and the processes that you need. And you figured out, you know what, I'm going to hold myself accountable and I'm going to be real with myself. And it allows you to go through a breakthrough, right? You have a breakthrough, this breakthrough moment from just bumbling along right here to making this move upwards, right? You have this breakthrough of moving upwards. Now, this moment in time is a great moment in time, or it's a bad moment in time, right? For most people, they start to get this and then they start to get lazy and then they head back down this way, and it's called a breakdown, right? So you break down emotionally, you break down spiritually, you break down in every part of your business because you forgot what got you out of inertia, what got you through momentum, and what led you through a breakthrough, and you headed down to a breakdown. But that's not what we want to do. You want to head from a breakthrough into the top part up here, which is called a breakout, right? You want to head to a breakout. So you got to bust through inertia, bust through momentum, get through breakthrough, and then all of a sudden you head to break out. And I can tell you, our company is sitting in a fine spot right now because we're sitting right about here. First and second quarter of 2022, I believe we will have a massive breakthrough. I believe that we will have a massive breakthrough in this company in the first and second quarter of 2022. And I also believe that by the third and fourth quarter of 2022, you will see a breakout in this company like you've never seen, right? First, you'll see the breakthrough the first and second quarter of 2022. And then by the third and fourth quarter of 2022, I think you'll see a breakout like you've never seen in any other company. You'll see a breakout in cash flow. You'll see a breakout in recruiting. You'll see a breakout in customer acquisition. You'll see a breakout in residual incomes. You'll see a breakout in portfolio income. You'll see a breakout of promotions coming through. You'll see a breakout of people learning how to lead. And you'll see a breakout in the amount of empowered leaders that are cranking the numbers. And you'll see a breakout in competition that leads everyone to conspire with each other to bring the best out of each other, right? You'll see each other competing and conspiring with each other to bring the best out of each other. And I think that that is what's going to happen in 2022. But the question you have to ask yourself is, are you addicted to losing? And if the answer is yes, or you haven't made it out of the rat race, or you haven't hit some of the things that you wanted to hit, you've got to do a deep dive and become self-aware as to why did that happen? Why do you continue to allow yourself to be mediocre? Why do you continue to allow yourself to just be flatlined? Why do you allow yourself to just sit in the inertia? Why do you allow yourself and your family to not know what it feels like to win big time? You deserve to know what it feels like. You deserve to know what it feels like to win and to win big in a breakthrough, breakout way. We're doing everything we know how to set this company up for a massive breakthrough and a massive breakout. I believe that we've got some of the brightest people working with us. And when it comes to understanding the vision of what we're doing and then understanding how to put the foundational components in place from a corporate, from a company standpoint. Now the only thing is to go out into the world, like Craig said, to look at the billions of people and get to work attracting the greatest people that want to learn, attracting the greatest people that want to become great leaders, attracting the greatest people that want to influence other people, attracting the greatest people that want to go out and empower other people so that they can all of a sudden begin to impact the mission of our company, which is to innovate wealth creation for humanity, not a human, but for humanity. And that takes a massive army of absolutely committed people to go out there and crush it. Make sure you're dealing in reality though, because if you're not, you're going to set yourself up for a massive failure. And that's not what's going to happen here. It's always an honor. It's always a privilege to spend time with you guys. And I look forward to helping you crush it in 2022. I look forward to helping you guys go through a breakthrough and a breakout. And with that, we'll turn it back over. Always ride the wave of life and always play big. Looks like we've got some fun little balls sitting in containers there. I think someone's dreams may be coming true. We'll see. But here they come. Here they come. Sir Igor, it's all yours.
Je mag je wel blijven zitten.
Hola! Yes! Wow!
Niet daarheen lopen, oké?
Hey guys!
Cedric, kom hier nu. Zorg dat je moet bij Benjamin blijven.
I can only hear Roel talking to Cedric. I can't hear Igor talking to the audience.
Hey guys!
We can
I got you.
Went with Roald to Davio's. Hey, there's Roald. Wow.
There we go.
Did you went to Davio's in Atlanta?
No, I went to a few different restaurants, all in the same area. We went to Roswell, a pasta restaurant is what I remember. Of course, we went to Jason's.
We're saving Davio's for when you come, Igor.
You did home cooked meals.
No.
Sort of, yes.
And now, hey, that's the best. That's always the best. I love the home cooked meals.
We did home cooked meals and home brewed drinks.
The drinks again. Hey, was it as good as the tequila in Cancun or in?
Do you know tequila is good all over the world, so it doesn't matter. It's always about the people. The
Wow.
flavor of the tequila is only enhanced by the humans I'm drinking it with.
Good.
Amazing. Now, wow.
We have the balls.
Guys, look over here.
The colorful balls.
We have the balls. It's time for the balls. So what are we going to do, Roald?
We're gonna grab, like we always do.
And what do they get?
Yeah, well, now we have the universal pool.
Yes.
That means we're gonna put 2 out of each bowl.
So let's say this is the 1000. When this ball is chosen, you get double the units in the universal pool.
100%.
As well, you get a unit in the infinity pool. When you get a unit in the 1000 of the infinity pool.
Correct.
When we choose this, you get double the units
In the universal pool.
in the universal pool, and you get a unit in the infinity pool in the 500.
And of course, in the regional pool still, where
And
you,
in there, wow.
all these pools, wow. And of course, we still have, because this is going to be the, let's say, the last part. Maybe it's good to remind everybody that we still have the double the coins
Yes.
available till the end of the month, or till the coins are completely sold out. And I can tell you that we are getting really, really close to that last. I think tomorrow we will do another update.
Yes.
So you will see in the web office how many coins are still available. But double the coins is available till the end of the month, or when they are completely sold out.
And we have still the double the units in the 5 countries that
Of
were
course.
chosen.
Of course.
So that's Finland, That is Illinois, Chicago. That is the number 1 in that pool. Is Sumatra.
Yes, I
Is
saw that
going
one.
like crazy. Uzbekistan. Was it Uzbekistan? Yes.
To be honestly,
there
I
was,
haven't
there
watched.
was one more. Okay. I don't want to. And of course, when you see the top 5, you can see the top 5 yourself, ladies and gentlemen. And in the top 5, the most sold countries, be careful. There's the Philippines. And the
Yes.
Philippines is at
99.2 when I checked about half an
99.2.
hour ago. So only 0.8% is still available in the Philippines.
Tonight the Philippines is
So
sold
we actually,
out anyhow.
so you know that we didn't put Philippines in one
No,
of
that
these
would not be
because
on
it's
it.
going to be sold out anyway. So that's not really a
So the
smart thing to do.
Philippines is not in it. So when you want it, grab it.
It's
or
going to be
you
sold
are
out tomorrow
today.
anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But the other countries are in. I know that that the other countries I
We
saw.
have Belgium, the Netherlands, Austria. I saw Moscow. I think I saw
Moscow
it
is
there.
in it. There is somewhere is the Bahamas in. I saw Turkey in. I saw Azerbaijan in. I saw many ones in there. Let's see what dreams make up. Which
Also,
one
till
do we
the end of
start?
the month, we still have the second membership paying with Dacoin. So promotion running on, and the same is also with the 6 month Forex Insiders that you can pay that package also with Dacoins, but it's all ending in 12 days. And actually, we probably, I'm saying probably, you never know what happens, but we will probably not have a call next week on Sunday because it's the second Christmas day. That
In the Netherlands, they have it, but I noticed that in many countries they don't have a second Christmas day.
They have it in. No, they have it in a lot of countries. Let's say it like that. I know they also have it not in some countries. So we'll make that decision somewhere this week. But this might be the last call, so that's why I want to emphasize it even more. So you know that we have only 12 days going for the promotions for the second membership for the view, double the coins for the 3-year packages. And also the 6-month Forex package is still there for Dacoin.
And being able to pay with Dacoins for the second package.
That's what I just announced.
Yes, but that's an important thing because when we end that at the end of this year, people must take advantage of the offer.
Yeah.
Because that can create a boom sale and, of course, the promotions. So this is the 5th. We start with that one.
You think I emphasized it enough now? Few promotions going on. And we add 10 regions that get double units in the universal pool from, let's say, the 24th, probably, Christmas Eve, until the last day of the month.
So 24th, we start with it somewhere.
I assume it's going to be 24 instead of 25th. Makes sense. So let's say 24 till 31, 1 day extra even.
Let's see which one we do. You take one, I take one.
Blue is my favorite color, so maybe I pick out my favorite region.
I take immediately the other one. Let's see what you have.
First one is
Mumbai,
India.
Wow. And that's a good one. That is a popular one, I see. And I took...
Do we have some people out of Iran still on the call? Kayan is going to be happy.
Yes, wow. Iran and Mumbai. That is something. And I knew that Kenya and Tanzania were in there as well. So what do we do with this one?
I guess we're going to get another caller.
Let's see which one we take. I take this one, I think.
Do we have any favorites here? This is the Bahamas.
The Bahamas!
You can see actually we had some black ones because we haven't printed the Bahamas yet on the, so we wrote it on the back, but you can see here the Bahamas.
Wow, and that's a favorite. We opened the United States, but that is one of the 3 favorite destinations of the Americans. So let me see what I have.
The Americans that I talked to.
Hey, you guys were waiting. Mexico.
Cancun.
So now you can get that Cancun. You can get that Chichen Itza. You can get one of the 7 wonders of the world, ladies and gentlemen. Mexico and the Bahamas. Wow, what do we have here?
Well, we have some nice.
Let's see what dreams may come. Wow. Roald has the first one. And let me pick one of the other ones.
Is the Seychelles.
Wow, the Seychelles. Wow, that's what. And the Seychelles was only 2 days in the offer.
Really?
It's one of
Oh,
the.
I wanna show
It was launched at the event, and it was only 2 days in the offer, and then it already boomed. That's why it's in the top 5 of these countries. And what is here? I have over here one of the most favorite travel destinations in the world, more than 700 different islands. We have Greece, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen. Greece, it's
a lot of nice
Mykonos,
things to see in Greece.
Santorini, Athens, and wow, the Olympic Games come from that. And now we have the major pool. So I know that Belgium is in there. I know Moscow is in there. The Netherlands is in there. What do you have? Which one do you
I
take?
have Belgium.
Belgium. We play in the Nations Cup against Belgium. Now, it would be beautiful when I would be able to take out the Netherlands. Huh? Okay. You know, let's see what dreams become. What do I have here? Can be everything, huh? What do I get here? Which one do I have over here? I have Germany, ladies and gentlemen. Germany. I took the neighbor.
They have the same colors in the flag.
Yeah, and they are beautiful too. I love Germany. And it's a big country, and it's one of the favorite ones. Germany. Wow. And now what do we do?
Now we take the extra ones. So like we always do, the 5 top ones are in each category here. We take 2, and then all the rest of them are going in here until we finish it into 10. And then we take out another 2 bonus ones.
So I take 1 too. Which one do you have?
I have here Morocco.
Morocco. Wow. Marrakesh. And I have over here Mauritius. I took Mauritius. Hey, that's one of the islands as well that we had back then. Shall we do 2 more?
No, I think 10
No,
is
for
nice.
now at the end of the year. 12 is beautiful. We have 2, 4, 6,
10.
8, 10. But when we do 12, the year has 12 months, Roald.
Correct. But
Shall we do it?
But do you know what we have? 10 balls. So
Yeah,
no.
but you know, look at this. We took 2 out of 5.
Yes.
We took 2 out of 5, and we took 2 out of 10.
Because
When we
they're
do
bonus.
4,
So next, because the 8 the black ones I actually did as a bonus. But next time you want this out, so we only take 8.
no, I thought we can do it the last month 2 extra.
Sorry.
That's not beautiful.
No. Keep it at 10.
Ladies
Sorry.
and gentlemen, it's not Santa Claus.
Yeah. No.
It's not Christmas yet. So
Not yet.
I did my best for you. You know, I get a lot of requests. Can we do 2 more?
Yeah. Show me one.
Here's the request.
Okay. Yeah. You talk to yourself all the time.
No, I get always that the people talk to me and they say,
They always say, why not do 12?
all the Mexicans.
Everybody.
ask for it.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Again, all the
Mexicans,
Ah,
all
yes.
the Iranians, they all want it.
Yes.
Guys, when you want 2 extra balls, you must put it in the comments because he
Yes.
doesn't believe that.
Correct.
But when you put it a lot in the comments, maybe we can get something done. You know, when it's not today, I go for it. Let's see what dreams may come.
Let's see. Anyhow, we have 10
Wow.
beautiful regions that we're gonna
Wow.
add somewhere this week, probably on the Friday, and then we have them for even 8 days, 10 days or 8 days. We have 10 regions with double the units in the universal pool. I think that's a very nice promotion.
Which one would we have chosen? Let's see. No, we are not going to do it because then the people are they are sad when it's not. Okay,
Yeah, I'm not gonna play that game.
Okay.
Definitely not.
But you know what? Let's see what dreams may come, ladies and gentlemen. Keep going, keep doing.
Understand?
The world can be yours.
Finish the year very strong.
Yes,
We
yes.
know that 2022, with all the things that we are right now preparing, not only the US, but there's a lot of things that we want to announce at the Dubai event. More information on Dubai event will also follow this week. But there's a lot of things that we are working in all areas to make sure that we have the best event already coming into 2022. And that will actually ignite your business even to a higher level.
I would say to everybody over there, don't think that in this period of happy days, of celebration days, that we are not working. We will work hard and we will work smart. And my advice to you is keep your mailbox posted. Log in to your account every day. You never know what dreams may come, ladies and gentlemen. I just give you that advice. and keep going. Keep signing up people so that this quarter already counts for your qualification. Is it right?
Yeah, we will of course in the new year announce the first quarter, the first results of the Presidents Club that we have for the fourth quarter in this year as well. A new Circle of Champions is being announced for 2022. So a lot of new, and that might actually be the next call. If we don't do this call on the second Christmas day, then it might be on the 2nd of January. So let's see.
Oh, that will be a spectacular call anyhow. Ladies and gentlemen, from our point of view, we love you very much, and we hope that the upcoming days will be one of the most successful and most celebrating ones in your life. Whatever happens to you must not be definitely your situation, because you cannot prevent that what happens to you, but you can take care about your situation, ladies and gentlemen.
So ready?
Yes.
Greg and Jason still there?
Are you there, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Greg is there. Jason is there.
Now we can do it together, which maybe is going to be the last time in the year. So I think we should do it together.
Yes.
Love that.
Let's go for it.
Strength and honor. It's all about you.
Mwah.
That's great.